At the end of the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna concluded that the devotee is the topmost yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatein antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo matah. So this mad gatein antaratmana, one who is constantly thinking of me, always within himself or herself, how does one come to that situation? So, we need to know more about Krishna if we are to love Krishna. We need information about him. So, Krishna then opens the 7th chapter, knowledge of the Absolute, by explaining knowledge about himself and his energies. And he tells Arjuna that, look, I will tell you how you can attain that state of consciousness that I have just spoken about at the end of the previous chapter. Then he explains both the material as well as the spiritual energies that are to be found within this world. This material world is a combination of matter and spirit. There are material objects, but matter cannot move by itself. They are powered by the spiritual energy. So there is the soul. Both matter and spirit are energies of Krishna. And Krishna explains that I am the source of all of these, O Arjuna. In fact, I am the support, the sustenance, and the basis for everything material or spiritual. And everything rests upon me like pearls are strung on a thread. A very beautiful analogy. Sometimes people say that, why can't we see God? We need not see God with our own eyes, but we can understand by simple logic. When you take a pearl necklace, for example, you can see all the pearls, but what's holding them together is some string that is within. We can't see that, but we know that it exists, otherwise the pearls would have scattered. So similarly, even though we cannot see Krishna with these eyes, we can understand by the sublime logic that he presents here in the 7th chapter that he is the underlying basis for the entire creation, spiritual or material. And this kind of vision is very hard to have. So Krishna says that among thousands of people, hardly one endeavors in the path of truth. And among those who have attained perfection in this path, hardly one understands me in truth. So do not get discouraged the next time you try to go and talk to someone about Krishna and that person is not interested. So many times devotees lose heart and they say, nobody seems to want to know about Krishna. In my office or my place of residence, I tell people and they're not interested. Well, Krishna has already said that. Very few are going to be interested. So don't stop trying to tell people about Krishna, because one in many will be interested, but that one in 10 or 20 that you tell, you will make that person's life perfect. I remember reading this little story that came on the internet, that there was this man who was on the sea beach, and there were so many starfish that were lying on the beach. They were getting swept on from the sea onto the beach. And this man would go and catch the starfish and throw it back into the sea because it could live then. And there were hundreds and thousands of these starfish. And it was a futile task, because how much could this one man do? So another person approached him and said, look, don't you think it's a futile task? There are thousands and thousands, and how many can you save? What difference will it make? So that man picks up one starfish, throws it into the sea, and says, it made a difference for this one. So like that, one in many thousands will be interested in Krishna. So we should go out, that one person is waiting for us, for you and for me, to approach him or her with Krishna's message. So go ahead with enthusiasm and don't stop preaching. And Krishna also gives us an understanding of how we can see him within nature. Ever drunk water? Yes, of course. The taste of water, Krishna says, is me. Have you ever smelled the fragrance of the earth when it rains? That fragrance, Krishna says, is me. In this way, Krishna gives us different tips and hints by which we can understand His presence. Then He says that the entire material creation is running because it is under the grip of the three modes of material nature. All living entities are controlled by this. But those who surrender unto me, Krishna says, will be able to cross over the three modes of material nature. But there are some people, Krishna says, who don't want to surrender to me. They surrender to the demigods. Or they may surrender to some other aspect of the Supreme, like the impersonal Brahma. So the demigods are basically empowered ministers who are in charge of administration of the universe. They are not supreme. So there are some who, out of ignorance of the Supreme, dedicate themselves to worship of the demigods. And others prefer to worship the impersonal light. You may have heard this so many times. There are people who worship the Supreme Lord, but they say we meditate on some impersonal aspect. It is extremely difficult, and Krishna is going to speak about that in later chapters as well. But ultimately, our Lord Krishna concludes that one must surrender to Krishna, to Him, and that is the only way in which we can ultimately attain perfection. Having obtained knowledge about Krishna, we are now better equipped to surrender to Him and to love Him.